In terms of free agency, Tyvus tweeted something out yesterday that we had to address.
Oh.
In case you guys missed it, Alec Pierce signed a gigantic contract to return to the Indianapolis Colts, over $100 million, 4 years, $116 million. And Tyvus said after this deal became official, he said, all right, I'm back on to draft the receiver at all costs at number 6. Because I can't afford to pay for a number 2 receiver if that's the going price.
Well,
so Tyvus,
That's ridiculous.
I still can't believe he got almost $30 million a year.
Me either.
He got the same price as T. Higgins.
so Tyvus.
What?
Yeah,
Yes,
basically.
Same deal as T. Higgins. Tyvus, so you're now back on Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson at 6 because of how expensive it is to acquire a good, maybe not even great receiver. Is that the right mindset?
If that's the case, we're never going to spend that type of money on a receiver. Like, hey, look, what does Judy make a year?
20, I
No,
think.
Judy's at 17 a year.
17.
And he making how much a year?
20 is 4 for 116, so it's like
I mean, he had
28.
a nice year
Man,
last
get out
year.
of here, boy. Don't do that.
No.
Get out of here.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm saying it wasn't like he was a scrub.
The only reason that what shocks me about his whole thing is that basically essentially Tyler Warren is your number 1 option and you're using him as a number 2 option.
I don't know. I think the way they paid him, he's their number 1 option. They traded Pittman.
And that part I don't understand either.
He's now a top 10 highest paid receiver.
I think
he's your number 1 option.
Yeah, here's what's interesting, to your point. If you look, like the cap's way up, right? So I expected all these contracts to be massive. Mm-hmm. That was really the only contract yesterday that blew me away.
Jalen Phillips was also one that was.
Yeah,
Jalen Phillips?
He had 6 sacks in a couple of years. But
Where did he go? The Eagles?
No, Carolina.
Where'd they pay him?
They got
4
Devin
for
Lloyd
120.
too.
All right, but like
They paid him what?
Linderbaum made a ton of money.
Yeah.
And changed the center market, but he's really good.
I think he's worth it.
He's a superstar. But he's a superstar at his position, right? In the rest of the positions, the numbers were kind of, for the most part, in line with what they've been.
Like I said, Pierce and Phillips were the 2 kind of outliers.
But the wide receiver, like what did Rashid Shaheed get?
Over 50. Jalen Naylor got 3 for 35.
Jalen Naylor? Like, what's he do? That guy, does he do anything?
The only Nailers I know back. We talk about Jalen Naylor. Is that Bo? Is that the cousin? Jalen Naylor. Who is that? I know who Jalen Reagor is.
So if the Browns pay Alec Pierce that money, you'd be okay with it?
Absolutely not. And here's the thing. I thought about this yesterday because I heard a lot of people, including I don't even know if I said it. Maybe I did. Say like, well, maybe the Browns should have traded for Michael Pittman. The Steelers didn't give anything up.
Well, he signed a deal,
and then they cashed him out after this.
But here's the thing. Here's why I wouldn't have done that if I were the Browns. And I get Operation Stockpile, and I'm on board generally. But here's why I wouldn't have done that.
He's stockpiling Pierce.
The Steelers have
No. You talking Pittman?
Pittman. The Steelers have DK Metcalf, who's a number 1 receiver, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He's not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson. But he's still a number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman's a 2, right?
Yeah.
2.5.
So if I'm the Browns, I'm already paying Jerry Jeudy. Now, I'm not paying him crazy, but I don't need to pay Pittman and Jeudy $40 million between them when they're both number 2s.
Right.
So, to me, if I'm the Browns, I'm only spending big money on a wide receiver if it's a 1. And Pittman's not a 1, and neither is Alec Pierce. Now,
you can get a real cheap at 6.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why the Browns need to get their own receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
Listen, Rand Carthon, former Titans general manager, has advised that the Cleveland Browns prioritize. Now, this is back.
Tate, Tyson, Lemon.
This is about 4 months ago he said this. He said the Cleveland Browns should prioritize drafting a wide receiver rather than spending on high-priced free agents. Carthon emphasized investing in top-tier draft talent to build around receiving corps, suggesting prospects like Carnell Tate. He argues that the draft and develop approach is superior to previous attempts to find receivers in later rounds or through free agency such as Cedric Tillman. He said this 4 months ago.
I'll tell you what. I think I have changed my. I think the Browns should go sign Taylor Decker to play left tackle.
Go Bucks.
I would too.
I would sign Taylor Decker. I'll go with Whippler at center. Mm-hmm. Remember I was talking about a Minimowski guard?
Yep.
Go get me a Minimowski guard who's serviceable.
What, in the draft?
No. What I would do with guard
Third
is
round.
I would draft a guard in the 3rd, 4th round, and if he's ready to go, I play him. If not, I sign like a 1-year, $6 million deal to some serviceable guard.
Give me Billy Schlaer from Notre Dame. Give me Billy.
Right? And then I don't have to spend first-round capital on a tackle. Because How old is Taylor Decker?
33.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
All right,
that's,
so I got-
that's okay.
I could have him for three more years.
2.5.
I got 3. I find another left tackle somewhere along the
But
way.
Taylor's been injured. He's been up and down.
I hear you. Well, I have DeWand as my backup, although he'll be injured too. Maybe
Well,
they'll take turns.
Hey,
being
right there it
injured.
is. There it is. Take it.
And then I am drafting Carnell Tate because, and I'm not usually this guy. I'm not usually
Take
like
Tyson or Lemon.
But who's the last Ohio State wide receiver that was a bust?
That was
Marvin
garbage.
Harrison Jr.
He's not a
Get
bust.
out of here.
I just want to see what Tyson's reaction.
He's
Get
not
outta
as
here.
No,
to
he-
this point in his
The
career.
last Ohio State receiver.
To this point in his career, it's fair to say Marvin Harrison Jr. has been disappointing. But he's not a bust.
I was just messing with Tyson.
The worst that you can even come up with is maybe Chris Olave or Garrett
he
Wilson.
just had an
Olave was
all-pro
an all-pro.
season.
But I'm just saying, but
You would have a bust. Probably
Brian Robisky, who the Browns drafted.
No, it would probably be Devin Smith because he was a second-round pick.
Oh, well, how long ago was that?
Devin Smith went the year before I went, so that was the 2015 draft.
I didn't even realize that was that recently.
Second round
DeVere
pick.
Posey.
Okay.
DeVere was a third-round pick.
When did Brian Hartline become the wide receiver coach?
2017.
Since he's been at Ohio State.
He's had one.
Didn't he just leave, or am I making
He
that
gone.
up?
He's the coach of South Florida now.
Since Brian Hartline came to Ohio State, every wide receiver in the league that they put in has at least been solid.
Yep.
Now, you can't get solid with your 6th overall
Terry,
pick. If we just
Paris Campbell.
Curtis Samuel, does that count? He's kind of
what year-
second round pick.
What year?
what year was Curtis Samuel?
Paris Campbell.
Paris was good with the
What year
Panthers,
was
though.
Samuel?
2017.
He was
Yeah,
good
but
with
he
the
was
Panthers.
not recruited by Hartline.
That's when
He might. I don't know if Hartline
No,
was
I'm just
there.
naming guys. Paris Campbell was a second round pick in 2019.
He's still talking about who's the latest bust.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't call him a
Carnell Tate,
bust.
you cannot play as much as he did at Ohio State if you don't have a level of excellence. Everybody thought JSN was going to be pretty good. He's a stud.
He turned out to be every year.
Ibuka as a rookie
Turned out to be very
looked
good.
really good. And this year without Mike Evans there,
He's
going to be good. He's going to become their number 1 guy.
Well, he fell off a cliff last year.
I know, but he was a rookie.
I agree.
To me, Carnell Tate has good upside. Maybe not as high as Tyson, as you guys have talked about. But I also like the fact, and again, it's a 6th pick, and if he ends up being just average, it's a disappointment. But I like that his floor is pretty high.
Yes.
He's a pro receiver.
He's a pro receiver. The question is he going to be good or great?
Right.
It's not going to be, is he going to be great or stink?
When did you get this analysis?
That is probably
When did you
where
get
it's
this analysis, my man?
Go.
Let's go.
14-1.
That 14-1.
14-1.
That's crazy. He's like, the only question, he said
That
it with
is
conviction.
true.
Only question is going to be whether he's
good or great.
I said, I like that.
I just can't see him not being at least good.
I
want him to be
came
great.
into this whole thing saying his floor is the highest of all of them.
That's it. And he still has the upside.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But when you watch his tape, it's actually his tape talk. His tape talk, man.
He do it effortlessly and smooth.
It do look very.
He's like, you can't cover me.
He could come in here and be the number 1 receiver right away.
Yeah.
And probably
I feel like any of the 3.
Any of those guys, yeah.
Any of the 3.
You draft a receiver at 6, he's the guy.
I'm not gonna lie. There's some receivers in this lower. We had to do a revisit.
Yeah, we did.
We had to revisit, and boy, there's a couple of them. C.J. Daniels was the kid.
Miami. What's the dude from Ole Miss?
We got our guest guys. Save that for later.
Malachi Fields.
Where is
from Notre
Carnell Tate
Dame.
from, by the way? Do we know?
Chicago.